In this lecture, we're going to talk a little bit more about the special nature of sports marketing and what makes sports a unique product. So this time we'll talk about sports and the economy and talk about one common myth that you may have heard. And if you haven't, you'll know how to answer it if you do hear it in the future. We'll also talk about the definition now of sports marketing and the two main types of sports marketing that we come across as sports marketing professionals. And then what do we mean by consumer or fan fragmentation? Before we do that, let's take a quick look at this chart, which shows the North America sports market size and how it's grown from 2009 until, as projected here, 2023. Keep in mind this is in billions of dollars. So you can see that one reason that focusing on sports marketing as a special segment of marketing is because of its economic impact. You can see here that the projected sport market size in 2023 is anticipated to be $83 billion. And you can see this upward trend. So that might lead you to ask the question, or consider the question, are sports recession-proof? Meaning, if the economy is in a slump and unemployment is high, will people still buy sport products? Will they still attend sporting events? And will sport properties still invest in the future? Let's take a look at a couple things that might help you answer this question. In the 1990s, fans had decreasing identity with major sport leagues. Sport venue construction decreased significantly during the 1990s, and significant Major League Baseball attendance dropped. Drops occurred between 2002 and 2009, and those were times of a pretty decent-sized recession. Similarly, several major corporate sponsors really reduced their spending on sponsorships in the early 2000s. So these things might lead you to answer the question, are sports recession-proof, as no. We might think that people still want to consume sports, and that might be true. But the extent to which they're able and willing to use their dollars on sports and sports product is still very, very tightly tied to the economy. The same is true with businesses. When the economy's in a slump, we're less likely to see them spending on sponsorships or exploring new avenues for sponsorship endeavors. Let's talk about sports marketing now. It's taken us a little while actually to get to this. But sports marketing is really just all of the activities designed to meet needs and wants of sport consumers through some type of exchange process. At its basic core level, it's not different from general marketing, which also focuses on meeting needs and wants of consumers. But here we're really just talking about the sport consumer specifically. So what are the two main aspects of sports marketing? The first one is probably what you think about when you think of professional sports and sport leagues. It's the marketing of that sport. It's your favorite baseball, basketball, football, or soccer team trying to attract fans to the stadium, trying to get people to buy their licensed apparel, trying to sell season tickets. So that's the marketing of sport, marketing sports leagues and events. The second main type is marketing through sports. And this is when businesses use an association with sports for the marketing of a non-sporting good or service. So in this example here, we can see that Huffy is a sport brand. They sell all kinds of sporting goods. However, the National Guard, who sponsors NASCAR, and some other businesses who sponsor NASCAR like Lowe's and Home Depot, they're not a sporting product or a sporting good, but they're marketing through sport. The same thing is true when you see athlete endorsements, or maybe using a sport theme to try to connect with sport fans. So what we're really looking at is applying the traditional marketing mix of product, price, place, and promotion to sports. It's just the application of the 4 Ps to sports. And here you can see how some of the unique aspects of sports are connected to the elements of the marketing mix. So how can we be good at sports marketing? I mean, that's something that the sports marketer thinks about when they're beginning their career, in the middle of their career, and even when they're towards the end of their career. And part of that is because the sports industry has always been one that's evolving constantly. So one thing to think about that's probably the most important thing that's not different from traditional marketing is focusing on the consumer, providing a sport product that meets their needs and their wants, but at the same time meets those organizational objectives. And that's what we call being market-oriented. We generate intelligence, understand and analyze it, and put it to strategic use. The best sports marketers are ones that understand the environment around them, that are constantly looking for information, synthesizing it and analyzing it, and then putting it into action when necessary. And then being aware of avoiding marketing myopia. And we'll cover that in a different lecture. So what is consumer fragmentation? You can see here on this picture that there's individuals who are engaged in all kinds of different sports just based on what they're wearing. That might give you a hint into what we mean by consumer fragmentation. It means that fans or consumers have only a limited time and limited funds to do anything, whether it's watch sports or go to the grocery store or go to school or go to church. So we're dealing with time scarcity and monetary scarcity, which is discretionary income. Fans have more options for recreation and entertainment than they ever had before. So what that means is there's a macro level of competition that the savvy sports marketer needs to consider. I have a choice between going to the gym or going home and watching my favorite team play or going and play with my kids. And really, it's competition for someone's, not just their income and their discretionary income, but their time. And fans and consumers have a wider variety of needs and wants than ever before. And that's particularly because there's so many things available. Think about all the streaming services and how many different sporting events you have access to on a daily basis, on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, and on your TV. So there's a demand for attention, but we only have so much of it. And this leads us to really realize that actually leisure spending on spectator sports is decreasing and has been decreasing in the recent couple of years or decades. And that's really because of this. Because we have so many options for different things to do and for our attention, meaning competition, that it becomes more and more difficult for the sports marketer to really grasp that attention. So consumer fragmentation really means that consumers have more choices than ever in traditional products and also in sporting goods and services. And that concludes our discussion.